Okay, so now we're ready to go over some details of economics for individuals and households. A lot of this stuff is pretty basic, but at the same time, it's extremely important. Okay, overview. This is what we're going to talk about. First, some definitions. We're going to learn about the asset and liability feedback cycles, positive feedback cycles. Then we're going to talk about how to set goals and plan for the future. First of all, money. What is it, right? So we see that, in early societies, they were trading a lot to get what they wanted. But then there was small valuable items, some precious metals, stones, things like that. You could carry it around and exchange it for goods and services. Now money's lost its intrinsic value. Okay, so numbers in a checking account, it's nothing more different than numbers on a piece of paper or in a video game, right? $20 bill is not 20 times as valuable as a $1 bill, except for the value that we've described to it. So why is money important? Well, you can change it for goods and services, right? Then you're also going to be able to use it to provide for necessities and make choices. Necessities, what's that? Things that you have to survive. Food, shelter, water, medical care, things like that. Choices, okay? This is a really important part. Choice to send your children to a more expensive school. Ability to travel, take that vacation you've always wanted. The option to take time off work. Do something else you want to do. Whatever you want. Start a business. Take care of your parents. Take your dream job. Or, you see this a lot of times. People get in a situation where they're stuck in their job, right? There's a bad coworker, there's a bad boss, whatever the case, but they can't quit because they really need that job. And if they do lose their job, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay, those people are people without choices. So bottom line is money gives you the power to implement your choices. And the more financially independent you are, the more you are going to be the ones that's going to control your life. And the less outside factors are going to control your life. So, how do we do this? First of all, we got to continue with some definitions. The time value of money. Money gives you the ability to do things with the money, including nothing, right? So having money now is always better than having the same amount of money at any time in the future. Okay? That's called the time value of money. That's also stated as interest, right? That's what someone borrowing money pays someone lending money for the time value of their money. Now, compound interest. We call this the double-edged sword of economics because it can be great for you or it can be terrible for you. When you use someone's money for a long period of time, the borrower is paying interest on the loan, plus they're paying the interest on the interest they've already paid. Okay, and the mathematics of this is anything that increases at a rate dependent on the quantity itself is going to be an exponential function. So we see it here. This is just $100 invested at 7% interest. So in year one, down here, we're at $100, right? Year two, we're at that 107. Then year three, we got interest on the 107 rather than just the 100. So you're up to 114 and 49. That just keeps increasing. By year 12, you've already doubled your money. And notice the amount that it increases too. So this is going up and up much more each year. Okay, inflation though. So money always loses its value. Okay, this depends on a lot of different things, and it's a point of political contention exactly how this is calculated, right? But we'll say 3%, right? Then money is going to be worth 3% less every year that it sits around. We saw this in the Weimar Republic, right before World War II. There was hyperinflation. People were paying hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pieces of their currency, Deutschmarks, just to, go to the store. They were bringing a wheelbarrow full of money to the store just to buy a loaf of bread. So inflation is very good for people who are in debt, but it's very bad for investors. Okay? Next key concept, income. Income is just money that comes in to your house. And most people, this is your salary, right? It could also be money you make from any other kind of odd jobs, garage sales, gifts that come in. And then the real key down here, which is for most people a very small amount, but for rich people it's a very large amount relative to their expenses. This here is money from assets. Okay? So what's an asset? Asset is something that gains value as time goes along. Usually these are stocks, although of course stocks can go down as well. Real estate investments, bank accounts, CDs, bonds, and things like that. Expenses. This is money that goes out of the household every month. Rent, a big one for most people, or a mortgage, utility bills, paying back loans, right? And then buying all the necessities you need, food, gas, car, clothing, medical bills, etc. And then, of course, taxes is a big one here as well. Next one is a liability. So liabilities are debts that a household takes on. This, of course, is your mortgage, credit card debt, different type of loans. If you purchase something on layaway, you purchase something with a credit card, these are all your liabilities.